the class. So class is started to record the class. Okay, so we will start the class, class on 26th October. So we quickly go to the last class. So last class, what were things we were discussing? We were discussing about the Rayleigh methods. So we have discussed about the principle of minimum potential energy, and we understood the expression for find out the potential energy of an elastic body. So with respect to that one, in order to find out the solution of a problem, so we are going to use the Rayleigh method. So what we do in the Rayleigh method, once you get the expression for the strain energy, so we will assume some function for the displacement. So the function, generally we took it as a function of the polynomial, and it need not be necessary. Sometimes you can, sometimes if you want, you can take the approximate function of the displacement as a function of trigonometric function. That is also possible. So anyway, so what we do, what we have done in the Rayleigh method. So initially we develop the expression for the potential energy. Then for the displacement, we assume an approximate function. So approximate function can be taken as a polynomial function, or it can be taken as a trigonometric function. So the important thing is that the whichever function you are going to take, that has to satisfy the boundary condition. So you will take an approximate function that is actually satisfying the boundary condition. Then you can substitute for the displacement and the differential of displacement in the potential energy expression. So you will get an expression for the potential energy. So where if you substitute for the displacement and the differential of displacement, then you will get some expression. If you are able to apply the principle of potential energy, then you are going to get the solution. So this is what we did in the last class. So initially here we have assumed that U. So we assume that U is equal to A1x. So we assume that only 1 degree of polynomial initially. So you can approximate to any degree of polynomial up to n degree of polynomial. So we will take an approximate function which is a polynomial function of degree n. So assume that n is equal to 1. Then you can your polynomial will plus a1x. So when you apply the differential equation, you are going to get u is equal to a1x. So that is your function. So when you apply, then you substitute in the potential energy expression, then you find out the value for a1. So we find out the value for a1 here. So a1 we got CL square by 3AE. So once you find out the expression for a1, then you are able to write down the expression for the displacement. So the displacement by the approximate function you got, u is equal to CL square divided by 3a into x. So if you get the differential equation like that, then you are going to get the you can get the strain energy is equal to du by dx, that is equal to CL square by 3a, and if sigma x is equal to E epsilon x, that is equal to CL square by 3a. So these are the expression which we have derived in the earlier equation. So what we got actually u. Initially we got u is equal to a1x. So then we found out the value of a1 is equal to, what is the value of a1? Value of a1 we got CL square by 3a. So we got CL square by 3a. This is the equation we got. So displacement you are able to write, you can write CL square divided by 3a into x. Okay, so du by dou x, that actually the strain in the x direction, that you will get CL square by 3a. So stress you will get, stress sigma which you are going to get is equal to E into epsilon x. So you are going to get CL square divided by 3a. So if we found out this expression, what are your observations? So what is the variation of the displacement with respect to x? Because we are considering a bar problem. So you have a bar here, then you have some load which actually acting along the axis of the bar, and the intensity of the load, the distributed load is equal to Qx. This is the problem which we are going to consider. So then we assume that the displacement is if you look at the displacement, so if I plot, so this is my x-axis. So if I plot according to this expression, displacement is 0 at x equal to 0. And when you have x equal to L, so this is the point of x equal to L. So what we assume here, displacement is equal to A1x. So displacement have a linear variation. So that is what we have assumed. So the displacement is varying linearly. It is equal to 0 at x equal to 0, and you will get a maximum value at x equal to L. This is the assumed displacement, what we assume displacement from the Rayleigh criteria. Okay, so when you look at the strain, if you look at the strain, what are you going to get? You will get the strain, what are you going to get? CL square by 3AE. So C is a constant, L is a constant, A is a constant, E is a constant. So strain is equal to, actually is a constant. So these values you are getting as per your approximation. And if you look at the stress you are seeing that CL square by 3A. C is a constant, L is a constant, and area is a constant. So stress you are going to get constant. So that means the value of stress is also you are getting constant. So displacement, what we assume is a linear variation. When you assume a linear variation of the stress, the strain you are going to get a constant throughout the geometry, and stress you are going to get it throughout the geometry. Now, if you look at the problem physically, what are you going to get? Look at the problem physically. So if you look at the problem physically, so the intensity of distribution load is changing. So that means if you look at here, if I am taking a section X, if I am taking a section X, so let's say this is the distance A. So if I take a section X at a distance of X from the origin, so let's say, so this, if I take a section at a distance of X, so this distance is X, and you will have some force. If you draw a free body diagram, so you will have some force here, and that will be balanced by this distributed force. And then if you look at the stress here, you will have some value. And if you look at the physics of the problem, you will understand that when x is increasing, when at x equal to 0, the sigma is equal to 0, and when x equal to L, the sigma will be equal to maximum stress. So when I'm moving through along x-axis, yeah, sorry. It's not, it is a reverse way actually, sorry. So whatever we have considered is a little tricky actually, just forget about this one. So let's say I'm taking from a portion here. So let's say I'm taking a portion here. So let's say I'm just cutting a portion here. So if I look at the cutting portion here, so you will have some force. So as an opposite, you will have some other force. And if you look at the stress here, you will get some value. So what you will get that when x equal to L, this force will become maximum. So let's say this is equal to x equal to 0. So I am moving through this direction. So when I'm moving from x equal to 0 to L in the opposite direction, so what you will feel that when I'm increasing this x, so when I'm increasing the x, the force on this element will be increasing. So you will have higher stress. So if we look at sigma, this is at sigma x, and if you look at here, sigma x dash, then you will understand that sigma x dash is greater than sigma x. And here, sigma will be equal to 0. At this point, at free end, you will get sigma equal to 0. And at this point, you will get sigma equal to the maximum stress. We don't know the value of maximum stress, we will get the maximum stress. So what you find that when you are considering a different section, the point is when you are considering a different section, you are going to get a different stress. The value of stress is not constant throughout the region. But if you look at our expression, you find out that the stress is constant throughout the region. From if I assume that the displacement is a linear function of x, then we found that strain is equal to constant, stress is equal to constant. But when you look at the physics of the problem, you understand that when on the free end, you have zero stress, and on the fixed end, when you move towards the fixed end, your stress is going to increase, and the maximum stress is going to occur at the fixed end. So that is your observation. So the solution which I have made here is not matching with the physics of the problem. So the solution which we have derived here, so it's not an exact solution, that you need to understand, and it is an approximate solution, and you can see that it is little bit wrong. It's not exact solution. So that is the thing you need to understand. I am considering a displacement field. I can consider any displacement field. So I am considering an approximate function. I can consider any approximate function. So I just consider that a polynomial of degree 1. That is my approximate solution, approximate function for the displacement I have considered. Then I understood that my strain is equal to constant. Then I understood that stress is equal to constant. But when you look at the physics of the problem, you understand that on the free end of the bar, the stress is equal to 0. And when you move towards the fixed end, you can see that the stress is going to increase. So your solution is not matching with the physics of the problem. But why I am explaining this one? This is how you need to solve the problem by using the Rayleigh method. So how can you increase? How can you make the problem more accurate? You have to have a better approximation. So here I have considered an approximate function of polynomial of degree 1. So how can I increase the accuracy of the solution? If you are able to consider a better polynomial of degree more than 1, then you can have a better solution. You may not have an exact solution, but you will have a better solution than this one. Okay, so we will consider the next solution, the next approximation. So we assume that we consider a polynomial function of degree 2. Okay, so we will assume that we are assuming that our polynomial of degree 2. So that means my u will be equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2 x square. So now I am considering a polynomial of degree 2 instead of 1. So when I am considering a degree of 2, so I will get a better solution. So I understood that when I consider a polynomial of degree 1, my solution is wrong. If I consider a second degree of polynomial, I will approach to the accurate solution. If I again increase, I will be more accurate. I will get a much better solution. So that is how we need to move. So here I am assuming that u is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2 x square. So it is a second degree of polynomial I am assuming. So now what we are going to assume? So you need to assume the boundary condition. So boundary condition x equal to 0, u is equal to 0. So if you substitute here, you are going to get a0 equal to 0. So the polynomial function of degree 2, which I need to consider, is equal to u is equal to a1x plus a2x square. So u is equal to a1, u is equal to u is equal to a1x plus a2 x square. So we are considering a polynomial of degree 2. So what is du by dx? Du by dx actually represents the strain. So you got a1 plus 2 a2 x. So now if you look at, you can see that strain is not a constant here. Strain is actually have a function of x. Earlier, if you consider u is equal to only a1x, you found out that du by dx, that is actually represent the x-axis strain, you are getting a1. a1 is equal to constant. So this is strain is equal to constant when you consider a degree of polynomial of 1. But when you consider a degree of polynomial 2, you can identify that strain is a function of x. That means strain now is varying. Strain have a variation of x. So that means strain is now varying a linear variation. So if strain is have a variation of linear, then stress is also going to vary linearly. Okay, so just now, just like our procedure, we are going to substitute here. So this is our expression for the potential energy which we have derived earlier for the problem. So just substitute in this potential energy. So du by dx we have term here, and you have term here. Just substitute for u here, and just substitute for du by dx here. Okay, so just substitute and make an expression for the potential energy. Okay, so make it first. So just substitute. Okay, so I hope you have done it. Just substitute here, then you are going to get like this. So if I substitute here for du by dx, so I am going to get like this. So I am going to get like this. So then I got an expression for this one. So if I integrate it, I am going to get like this. So this is the expression for the potential energy which we are going to get. So this maybe you can do it later. So what we did here, we assume displacement as an approximate function of polynomial degree 2. So once you did it, you just substitute in the expression for the potential energy, and then finally you are going to get potential energy is equal to in terms of A1 and A2. So you got an expression for a potential energy in terms of A1 and A2. So I am going to the next slide. So if you are unable to do this one, you can do it later. So now if you get an expression for the potential energy, what is the next step? You have to apply the principle of minimum potential energy. So principle of minimum potential energy, you have A1 here. So you have A1 and you have A2 here. So that means dou pi by dou A1 will be equal to 0, and dou pi by dou A2 will be equal to 0. So that means you get an expression, you get a first equation. So what are the unknowns for u? Unknowns for u is equal to A1 and A2. That is unknown in your case. So you can apply the minimum potential energy. That means if you differentiate the potential energy with respect to A1, so you can equate to 0. So that you can call it as equation 1, and dou pi by dou A2, you can call it as equation number 2. So you will get two equations and two unknowns. You have A1 and A2. So you can find out the value of A1 and A2. So if you are getting here dou pi by dou A1, so I am getting an equation. So that is equation number 1. So I am getting an equation. That is an equation number 1. So dou pi by dou A1. So dou pi by dou A1, you are going to get an expression for 0. So dou pi by dou A2, you are going to get equation number 2. So you have equation number 1 and you have equation number 2. So if you solve, you have two unknowns, A1 and A2. So you can solve it for, since you have two equations and two unknowns, you can solve it for A1 and A2. So A1 you are going to get 7CL square by 12A, and A2 you are going to get CL by 4A. So somebody asked some question. Abraham asked 4 by 3 by LQ. Where are you asking? Which equation you are talking, Abraham? Can you just talk? In the previous slide. Previous slide, first equation. So is it 4a square x cube? Yeah, correct. So this is wrong actually. Yeah, it's correct. Thank you. So that is another mistake made by me. Yeah, I understood, sir. Understood, Abraham. So this will become L cube actually. Instead of L square, it will become L cube. Yeah, it's correct. This is the thing which you mean, yeah? Abraham? Yeah. Okay, so just correct this one. This is L cube. Yeah, so this will become L cube. Yeah. So this is also then become L cube. Yeah. So just correct that one. Anyway, finally you are going to get this expression 7 CL square by 12A and CL by A. Okay, so just note down this one. If you are unable to solve the problem, you just note down the value of A1 and A2. Just note down this value of A1 and A2. And okay, so please note it down. Okay, I hope you have noted down. So we found out the value of A1 and we found out the value of A2. So if you know the value of A1 and A2, you are able to write the expression for the displacement. So displacement you are able to write then A1. This is actually A1. So A1 x plus A2 x square. So the displacement 7 CL square by 12A into x minus CL divided by 4A into x square. So the value of A1 and A2 is like this. So displacement you are able to write this. And epsilon x you are able to write A1 plus A2 into x. So this is the strain, and stress you are able to write sigma is equal to sigma Young's modulus into epsilon x. So you are going to get stress, you are going to get 7 CL square by 12 AE minus, sorry, this AE will be cancelled. So minus CL divided by 2A into x. So we find out the displacement, we find out the strain, and we found out the stress. So now if you look at the problem, so this is the problem. And if you look at the displacement, in this region, so you will see that displacement when x equal to 0, the displacement equal to 0, and you will have a parabolic variation. So displacement is varying with respect to x square. So you will get a parabola. The shape may not be same, but it's like a parabolic variation. You have x variation in x square. So u is a function of u of x square. So you have a parabolic variation. So when you look at the strain, you are going to see that when you look at the strain, so when x equal to 0, you will have some strain. So you will have some variation of strain. So some linear variation of strain. So this will be the variation linear. So stress is also, you will have a linear variation. Okay, this is we got as per our approximate function, and this may not be the correct answer. This may not be the correct answer. This is not the correct answer. Okay, so this is not the correct answer. The correct answer, if you look at the analytical expression, if you look at, so u is equal to c divided by 6a 3l square x minus x cube. This is the analytical solution for this problem. So this is the analytical solution for the problem. So if you look at it, have a cubic variation. Basically, the displacement have a variation of in terms of x cube. But since you assume the displacement in x square, so you got some displacement which have a parabolic variation. So if you look at our initial case, so what is our initial assumption? Initial assumption is u is equal to a1x. This is our first case. And second case, we assume that u is equal to a1x plus a2x square. So when you look at the first approximation, you are getting a solution which is not much related to the actual solution. But when you look at the second solution, when I am assuming that u is equal to a1x plus a2x square, you can see that our solution is better, but it is not exact. It is not matching with the exact solution until now, but it is better. So if you look at here, if I assume another approximation which is in x cube, then I am going to get this exact solution. So when you are increasing the degree of polynomial, you are actually getting closer to the accurate solution. That is from the observation from this problem. So now if you look at the problem, so this is how this is the problem. So this is the problem, Q is equal to Cx. So this is a problem which we have discussed. So LT actually represents the total length here. So this is a figure which I have taken from Robert Cook. So now if you look at here, this is one-term solution. So this is actually the solution. This is the displacement. So remember that this is the displacement. So when I'm x equal to, this is x equal to 0, and this is equal to x equal to L. And if you have one-term solution, that means u is equal to a1x. Then you have a uniform variation, linear variation when x is increasing. But when you look at here, when I'm increasing to u is equal to a1x plus a2x square, then you are going to get a little bit more accurate solution. It will come closer to the actual solution. But remember that in the analytical solution, we found that there is a cubical variation. When you are, so initially you are going to assume a linear solution. So this is our exact solution. Let's say this is our exact solution. So when I am increasing the polynomial, I am going to get like this. If I increase again, then I am getting closer. So now if you look at stress, just come to the stress. This is equal to x equal to 0, and this is equal to x equal to L. So this actually represents strain. Y-axis represents strain. So one-term solution means here, when u is assumed that a1x, so you can see that stress is actually constant throughout the region. So when I am assuming two terms, so two terms means u I have assumed a1x plus a2x square. So when I am having such assumption, I could find out the stress have a variation of square variation, means stress have a linear variation. So this is actually a linear variation of stress. But when you look at the exact solution, you can see that exact solution is actually having a parabolic variation. So this is actually exact solution is actually having a parabolic variation. But if you look at here, when I am assuming one term, when I am looking for two terms, when I am increasing the term, so my solution is getting little bit more closer to the exact solution. So if you increase the terms in the polynomial, so I may get more accurate solution. But if you look at here, the calculation is little bit difficult. If I am assuming only one term, the calculation is easy. But when I am increasing to two terms, the calculation, if you look at, I will find out the constant a1 and a2. So it will be little difficult. So if I increase again, if I can consider the third term a1x plus a2x x square plus a3x cube, so I will get exact solution. In this case, I am going to get exact solution. In other case, I may get much closer to the exact solution. So if I increase this one, my unknowns are a1, a2, a3. So finding out all these unknowns, substituting in the differential equation, it will be a little more difficult. So if you want a better solution, you can increase the degree of polynomial. But when you are increasing the polynomial, your problem size is going to increase. So you need more time to solve the problem. I hope you are getting it. Okay. So another thing you need to understand that, so if you look at the problem, so you don't need to go for this one. even if you have a problem like this, boundary condition, when I am assuming displacement is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square like that. So just look at the problem itself. You don't need to substitute and everything like that. You don't need to do further. You can just look at the problem and find out an approximation. Suppose if you look at this problem, so what is your approximation? So you assume that x equal to 0, u is equal to 0. So then I can find out that when I am using an expression for u, when I put x equal to 0, the u has to be equal to 0. So I have to select some function which will be 0 at x equal to 0. So then I can, by looking at the problem, I can take some constant. So let's say I am taking constant a1 into x. So this is a function which is satisfying the differential, the boundary condition. So if I took a2 into x square, again, you can see it is satisfying. If I am taking a3 into x cube, you can see it is again satisfied. So you can assume that one. Now if I am just asking you, if the condition is like this, our problem is like this, I am fixing at both ends. So x equal to 0 and this is equal to x equal to L. So I have some root. So by looking at the problem, I can assume like this u, I can assume u is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square, like that I can assume. Then I can substitute boundary condition u equal to 0 at x equal to 0. Then u equal to 0 at x equal to L. So by using this boundary condition, I can find out the values. So if I am substituting this expression, I am going to get what I am going to get a0 equal to 0. If I am substituting here, what I am going to get a1L plus a2L square is equal to 0. So you look at the problem like that, I can find out. Now I am getting an expression for a1. a1 is equal to minus a2 into L. So a1 by a2 is equal to minus L. So I can substitute here. So u I can write it like this. U is equal to how a1 into x, then a1 is equal to minus a2. So that means I can write this in terms of, so I may write like this in terms of a minus a to L. So I can take from expression for this one. So I can take minus a to L x, that is equal to a1x plus a2 x square. So I can write as a2, I can take it out, a2 into x square minus lx. So I can find out like an expression. Otherwise, you just look at the problem. So you just look at the problem. So I have to select a polynomial. So this is one point. This is one method. So while looking at the problem, you understand that x equal to 0, my u has to be 0. And x equal to L, my u has to be 0. So can you propose a polynomial? Can you propose a polynomial which will be equal to 0? Can you propose a polynomial which will be equal to 0 when you put x equal to 0, and which will be equal to 0 when x equal to L? Can you propose a polynomial which? So can you just propose in the comment box? When you have to suggest a polynomial. When I substitute x equal to 0, the value has to be 0. When I suggest x equal to L, the value has to be 0. So I have to, yeah. So I just has commented that x into, if I take a polynomial, u is equal to x into x minus L. So this is a polynomial. If in this polynomial, when I am putting x equal to 0, I am going to get u equal to 0. When I am keeping x equal to L, I am going to get u equal to 0. So then I can take this function u x into x minus 1 into some constant. So a1 into some constant. You don't need to confuse with a1 from our previous one. Some constant. So let's say I'm taking c1 instead of a1. I'm taking c1. So I am just taking c1. Okay, so I can write a approximate function for u is equal to c1x into x minus n. So either you can use this one, either you can assume a generalized polynomial, then you substitute differential equation, then you get an expression for this one, Or you can do by looking at the problem, and you can form a polynomial which will be satisfying the boundary condition. So you can actually go to any of this method. Okay, so we will go to the tutorial now. So basically what we did it in the Rayleigh method. So initially you make a expression for the potential energy, and on that potential energy you assume a displacement field. Displacement field, an approximate function, which is a polynomial, and then you can find out the expression, and you can substitute in the potential energy expression. Then you can apply the principle of minimum potential energy. That is what we did here in the summary. What we did here, and remember that when I am selecting you, you should have, if I am taking a degree of n, polynomial degree n, I should have all the terms a1x plus a2x square plus etc. plus an xn. When I am selecting a polynomial of degree n, I should have all the terms. So I should not skip any of the term, like x term, x square term. I should not skip any of the term. If I skip, you should not skip it. So what is the problem if I skip it? Suppose in the previous problem, I just assume an expression. So in the previous problem, I just assume that I am just taking an expression u is equal to a raised to 4 into x raised to 4. So what is the problem if I take this expression? Can you just comment it? If I take an expression a for x raised to 4 in the previous problem, what is the problem? If I take like an expression a4 into x raised to 4. Can any of you comment it? What is the problem if I take a4 into x raised to 4 only in the previous problem? So what is the problem which I am going to face? It will satisfy the boundary condition. What is the problem with the boundary condition? Boundary condition u is equal to 0. Oh yeah. U equal to 0, x equal to 0. Yeah, that is one point. Let's say I am taking another thing. So I am just skipping u is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x cube plus I am not taking, sorry, a2x square. I am not taking x here. Then I take a raised to x raised to 4. What is the problem here? That if I skip this sum of the terms, even if suppose it is satisfying, let's say it is satisfying, the problem that you understand that the variation in the exact solution is a cubical solution. So exact solution, if you look at exact solution, is a polynomial of function 3x cube x minus x cube. If you look at here, what is our exact solution? If you look at the exact solution, analytical solution, it is a function of x into x cube. So if I am taking u is equal to a raised to 4 x raised to 4 only, the problem that I may not get the exact solution, because exact solution x minus x cube. Suppose your solution is in terms of x only, then you will miss the solution. So when I am taking a polynomial of degree n, you have to take all the terms from x raised to 0 to x raised to n. When you apply the boundary condition, something will cancel, but you have to take all the terms. So that is a point I need to convey to you. So now we will go to tutorial. So let's say it is 9:45 now. 9:45. So you take maybe 12 minutes. I think it's 12 minutes is sufficient. If you understand, this is a very simple problem. And 5 minutes. So 17 minutes. So by 10:02, just submit. So I will keep the question for 5 minutes, then I will close it. So we will disconnect the class. Okay. So we consider the same problem. Remember that we consider the same problem. So the only thing, earlier problem q is equal to Cx. So here Q is equal to constant. That is the only difference. Q is equal to constant. And you have to consider approximate function a0 plus a1x plus a2 into x square, polynomial of degree, and length is n. It is actually simpler than what we have discussed in the class. Just remember that it is simpler than what we have. The same problem which we have discussed in the class, it is simpler than that we have discussed in the class. In the class, we have discussed Q is equal to Cx, a constant into x. Q is a variation with respect to x. But here, Q never varies. Q is equal to a constant. So if you look at the problem, if you will identify that the problem is actually simpler than what we have discussed in the class. So you should be able to solve it easily. So take only 12 minutes to solve the problem and 5 minutes up. Q is equal to constant, length of the bar is equal to L. And take a polynomial of function degree 2. Q is equal to, you don't need to derive anything, just solve it, don't derive anything. Potential energy expression directly took from what we have discussed in the class. So integral of EA into du by dx whole square into dx like that. That expression directly you take, do not go to derive anything. What we need actually, we need the values of A0, A1, A2. That's all. So do not go for derivation. Please do not go for derivation. Just solve the problem. So take the direct expression of what we have derived now in the last class and today. Take directly, just solve it. The problem is same. Only thing Q is equal to constant. That is the only difference. So do not go to derive the equation. So just take direct equation from what we have discussed, then solve it.